Dear viewers, welcome back to the show Dean and Dunia. My name is Rahma Mustafa Goni, and as you know, this is a program where we talk about interesting issues around us, issues that most people will find it uncomfortable to talk about them. We are bringing them onto the table and find solutions. Today, we have for you a topic that is very dear to my heart, which is single and hopeful. And I have with me in the studio a special guest, Barrister Zuleika Yusuf. She is the author of Coping Mechanisms in a Difficult Marriage. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I have my co-host, who is Abdul Rashid Abdul Fattah. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, single and hopeful. So we know that singles are men, women, but for women, she can be maybe a widow, a divorcee, or some people that have never been married. So there is this thing where most of our girls are being raised with the mentality that marriage is the ultimate goal and nothing else. They don't actually show them that marriage is only one aspect of your life, which is important, but then it's not your whole life. And they will tell us that, okay, since you're not married, you shouldn't get that degree, you shouldn't get that PhD, you shouldn't buy that car, you shouldn't buy that house and wait until your marriage. It's like you should pause your life until somebody comes and sweeps you off your feet or something like that. So I don't know. If maybe Allah says you're not destined to get married, does that mean you should be miserable your whole life and you don't have any purpose? You're worthless? Because there was a father that told his daughter that if you're not married, you're just useless. Just imagine this coming from a parent. So what can we do? How can we cope with these things?
We start from
Well, I think that this program is timely, because like you said, for a very long time, we've taken marriage as the be-all and the end-all of a woman's life. And it's not the truth. We are realizing now that, everybody has a life purpose, male or female. When Allah talks about us in this dunya, how we should strive, he talks about mu'minin and mu'minat, qanitin, qanitat, abidin, abidat. He doesn't just say, men, go and strive, and women get married, and that's all. And this is the missing link. What we are doing right now is the missing link of all the marital challenges that we're seeing in our ummah today. The stories are devastating. Every time there's a story of a badly turned out marriage, of divorce, of domestic violence. The problem starts from when everybody is single. So it's very timely that we're even doing this now. Now we need to change this perception, that you should just aspire for marriage. The fact is, who are you before marriage? You are a human being before marriage. After marriage, the person you are, it is who will determine how you turn out in marriage. So for singles, it is very important for them, even before marriage, to identify themselves, to find a life purpose, what you are going to work for the rest of your life. And in worshiping Allah, there are many facets to it. It could be through your marriage, it could be through your parenting, it could be through your job, it could be through your career, whatever it is. So that idea that you were talking about is very faulty. A father who says to his daughter, without marriage you are nothing, is prepping her for problems even if she eventually gets married. It's the kind of father whose daughter will have problems and say, this is what I'm going through, trying to find sukkah with her parents, and he's saying, no, just go back. Whatever you are facing, die there. So that's where the problem is. And we need to change this orientation in the ummah so that we can avoid all the sad stories we hear today, because really it's disheartening. The statistics are too high. The rate of divorces, the rate of crashed homes, the rate of divided families, and the children suffer for it. So we always say that we should start from the core, because a broken relationship is better than a broken marriage. Let's start from the beginning. Let people know who they are. Let people find their essence in life before they even come to partner with somebody else to bring forth the next generation. So, for singles, it's a very timely message.
The thing is that it has been happening for a long time. If you think about it, right from when they said even taking a female child to school is like wasting your money, because you will still go to another man's house and all that.
No need.
So it's like this thing it is deep. It is deep into the subconscious of, it's in the African mindset.
Orientation.
So where do we even now begin to start opening that mindset from that? Look, it is your like the other time they said marriage is not supposed to complete you, it complements you. So it now in fact one thing I have noticed is these days the amount of heartbreak, of breakfast that people have collected is too much, especially in teenagers, because now you would, let me say, 9 in 10 teenagers will tell you that love is a scam. 9 in 10 men will tell you that women are scum. 10 in 10 ladies will tell you that men are scum.
Men are bad. All
So
men are bad.
you won't even know where to start from. I mean, you okay, and then when you now look at it, you see that the thing is, people's preferences and their priorities is now another problem. The youths of today, the priorities that we have, it now leads us to having bad preferences or not really so good preferences, which now leads to bad choices. So it's now, sometimes you begin to, okay, with all the husband materials, like, see me now, a husband material. You see me here now, but you will not come to meet the husband materials like us, and then you go to meet those men.
Well, we can't tell. It's not written on the face who is going to be a bad husband.
There are these things they tell girls, like, you cannot, just because you are single, you cannot make a mistake. But you make any mistake, they'll be like, is that how you're going to treat your husband?
Is that what you're going to do in your husband's house?
I remember one time when I actually went to a conference. So we were in the queue waiting to be served. So somebody was in front of me. So there was an instruction to the caterers that you shouldn't serve anybody more than one portion. So the man now said he wanted to have swallow. And the girl gave him one wrap. So he was like, no, I don't want one.
As a big man, all you give me one.
Like, I'm sorry. This is the instruction. You can only have one. You can have other things as variety, but then please just take this one. And then he looked at her and was like, if it is your husband, is it the way you're going to serve
my husband.
Like
that.
I was just, and she has been sorry, I'm sorry. I just went to meet her and I was like, my sister, you're following instruction, right?
You need to apologize.
Yes. I said, you need to keep your job, right? She said, yes. I said, sir, please. Since she's sorry, it's not even called for you to be telling her these things. I said, if he doesn't want, please just move on. Serve another person. I'm here. I mean, like, why?
And they throw that at women a lot. That is why you're not. And if you even have problems later, and you are now single again, some allusions are going to be made to, okay, so it was this your hot temper that removed you from your husband's house. It was because of this you are not. That's why she's not married. Either, like, let's say you are even a teacher in a school and you are a harsh person, they'll be like, oh, that woman, that's why she's a
husband left her.
That kind of thing. So we need to stop this stigmatization. We need to stop. The pressure is too much for girls. Once you are 18, 19, 20, like the clock is just ticking. It's ticking. And for men nowadays too, it's almost the same thing. Everybody is asking. You go for your cousin's wedding, your sister, everybody is asking, when is it you're going to be? When is it going to be? And so it makes people desperate. And so my message to singles basically is don't be desperate, because that desperation has led to so many bad choices. Some people got married because they wanted to leave the situation at home. I'm sorry, some people come from, dysfunctional families. Maybe where there's domestic violence or the father is never around, or there are issues and issues that are unresolved, polygamy, things like that. So they just want an escape, and then they go from a bad situation to an even worse situation. So for singles, it will not be nice to be desperate, and it is very important to be grounded.
Like you mentioned that there is pressure maybe from family, from friends and all that, and sometimes maybe self-inflicted pressure. So that makes them, I feel like, okay, let me just get married for marriage's sake, and there is no proper investigation. I heard about a girl. She was actually 20 or 22, so thereabouts, and so they did investigate. They did not do anything, and they married her off to, I think, a 70-year-old man. So it wasn't her choice. So now, after I think few months, the man got sick, and he passed. So it was after his death that they realized that he was actually taking drugs for HIV. And they didn't even know about it. She didn't know. Apparently, the other wives knew about it since.
And so they didn't want to have anything to do with him again.
So her parents did not investigate, no any test, all these things. And then they found out that she was positive as well. So there's no
That is like another whole cascade of problems on its own.
So she was like that, and then somebody even came with the same condition saying he was going to marry her, and she was like, she's never going to get married in her life. Just look at it. At this age, they traumatized her. They've crushed her dreams.
She'll be in trauma, and and this is where the role of the parents come into. Families need to do their work. Families need to. I know that these days, material. He's rich. He has property. He's, material very important, of course, because he needs to be able to take care of his family, but that should not also be the only criteria. You know, investigations, you know, it should even arouse your curiosity as to why would somebody of this age be wanting to marry,
to actually
you know,
get
somebody
married.
that is
That's
great
another
granddaughter's
thing.
age, you know.
I don't
So
know. I don't want to call it a problem, but there is this thing of an uncle coming from somewhere and saying he wants to marry the. You hear a lot of cases where the girl is already in love or the boy is already
somebody
in
else,
love
yeah.
and with the lady, and then one uncle or one elder
Late comer.
cousin will just come from somewhere and say that give me your daughter, let me marry. And you know, sometimes for the sake of you know, family ties and all that, that's stressful, those stressful
Yes,
things,
yes,
they will
yes.
now eventually marry her off. Now, someone that is already in love with someone else,
Yeah.
number one, it will be extremely difficult to stay faithful.
Yes.
Number two, she will not be happy
Her
in
mind is
that
somewhere
marriage. Her
else.
mind is somewhere
Somewhere
else.
else, yeah.
And and if it is actually real, the guy himself too will not want to let go.
Yeah.
It's like, and although people make fun of it these days now, you know, someone should just come and give me 10 million and tell me to leave their daughter alone, you know, that kind of thing. But it really devastates us. It really hits people
They
hard.
call them late comers.
Latecomers, they will come and dominate the whole space. So it's not like, okay, there are people that don't believe in you know, going for someone that is way too younger than you are, so they want to marry their age mate, someone that they can have fun with, someone they can play with, you know, that kind of thing. So it's not like and then the narrative is that like, for example, they will tell you that your wife has not yet been born, that kind of thing, that
She has to be way younger
that
than you.
she exactly. And to me personally, I believe it doesn't,
Everybody-
with all due respect, it does not make any sense.
Everybody has
You should be able
preferences.
to have you should be able to go for what you want. It's not, sometimes your parents will be like, you know, according to how they have been brought up, according to what they have seen.
What you
So
can
it's now
control.
difficult for a
I
lot
think
of
the
teenagers these
The
days.
reason why that male-female age gap is there is so that you can control her, so that she will not, you know, your classmate, you know, she has, there's this C finish, we are
you don't
mates,
see me
so
finish.
like, so that, I think that's also, but parents need to prioritize, you know, the choice of the girl to, if she has a responsible person. I'm not saying somebody should bring a drug addict and all that, but if the person she prefers is better, because we have in our own traditions, Islamic traditions, a girl went to the prophet and said her father was trying to marry her to
her
somebody
off.
else, and then he said, why don't you obey your father? She said she didn't want, and then he said, okay, you can have a different choice. And then she said she would obey her father, but she just wanted the whole world to know that you have a choice as a girl. So
And that's not
it's
what she
not
wanted.
in Islam that a girl has to just marry who she doesn't want.
Dear viewers, it's still the show Din and Dunya, and the topic is single and hopeful. We'll now take a short break and we'll be back. Stay tuned.